I remember back to when I would stub my toe. After shouting the F word like 50 times, I would wonder, what's this about? What did I do? I don't remember what started this belief in my consciousness. I must have heard or read it somewhere that when we stub our toe, it's bringing our attention to something. And for some reason, I would think that it was because I did or thought something bad. There's this idea that everything happens for a reason. And as humans, we tend to think it's about us personally. But some believe that when something happens like falling or hurting ourselves, it's about the energy, and that even though it happened to you, it could be for someone else. Years ago, I was with a friend walking outdoors in a beach town. Suddenly, I went plummeting down. I think there was a small hole that I was lucky enough to step in just the wrong way. I didn't want to disappoint my friend, so after applying some ice, I hobbled along. Well, of course, this led to days on the couch with a sprained, swollen ankle. It was suggested to me that it happened for my friend, and when I asked, well, why me, they said, because you could. I don't know much about this belief, and I'm not sure if I had to do it only for my friend, or was it something with our relationship, and maybe I don't need to know. So fast forward to today, while standing on a chair to fill my hummingbird feeder, as I'm getting off the chair, it tips, and down I go. It's always so shocking when we fall, isn't it? As you may have guessed, I sprained my ankle yet again. I wish I could remember if it was the same one or not. There are several different conclusions I could come to. The first is that it was just careless of me because the chair wasn't all that steady, and even though I had been doing it this way for a while, I've always known it was risky. So this conclusion is that it was just really stupid and bound to happen. Does everything that happened have to have a reason? Or sometimes is a cigar just a cigar? Another friend of mine was having challenges and feeling frustrated, and when she consulted her guidance, she heard, oh, it's just 3D stuff. I thought that was so funny, and it made sense to me. Does there have to be some lesson, meaning, or message behind everything? Another belief is that when you stub your toe or fall or a myriad of other things, you should notice what was going on in that moment. What were you thinking? What was happening when you hurt yourself? Thankfully, I don't get hurt that often, so that when I do, I'm so surprised. What just happened and why? And then I'm angry. In this recent calamity, it seemed obvious that it was just a careless mistake, and I had pushed the limit on my luck. And maybe that's all it was, but being housebound for a couple of days gave me time to contemplate. I had been having a good day, but it had started to spiral in negativity and negative thoughts. I had gone to the store and realized I forgot my debit card. Then leaving the store, there was a long wait while a motorcade made its way up the street, and I had to divert the traffic. And then at home, I was annoyed at my neighbor. And then while filling the bird feeder, I found it was covered in little ants. I rinsed off the ants, hung it back up, and then down I fell. So the second conclusion is that I had started spiraling in a low vibration of negativity and annoyance. Was I meant to observe that, or was it just that I was not paying attention, being distracted by my irritation? An obvious meaning of an accident such as falling is to pay attention. Then I started thinking about the last time I sprained my ankle and what I had been told about it being an energetic release. The more I thought about it, the more it made sense in this case, and maybe both. We can all get stuck in energy patterns. Sometimes they're negative or rigid or countless other things. I do feel that energetically something was released. So after the initial shock and treatment of my ankle, I felt very calm and relaxed. And not because I was just sitting around with my leg elevated, but I felt a shift, a release. Maybe sometimes if we're spiraling or stuck, these minor accidents can cause the shift and the energetic release. It also brought up the theme of appreciation. We all get into patterns of taking things and people for granted. Hobbling around my place, I realized how much I appreciate being physically healthy, being able to walk. I'm one of those self-sufficient, independent types and would rather do things myself. But after eliminating all possibilities, I humbled myself and called my friend, who came to the rescue with ice and good advice and got me situated, not to mention a nice distraction. So why are we so stubborn? I'm happy to run to the rescue when I'm needed, so why am I reluctant to receive the same? Perhaps it's not wanting to be vulnerable that gets in the way. But the reality is that we all need each other. There are some situations where you just can't go it alone, and when help does come, it can bring a great energy of love and caring. So the third conclusion is that I was being jolted out of my pattern and reminded of appreciation for all I have and the people that care about me and that are there for me. Maybe it was none of the above, but I feel that it was maybe all of the above, especially the release of stagnant energy. Maybe I was meant to make this video as a more gentle reminder. When I realized I had sprained my ankle, I was angry. And then when I started wondering why it happened, I wished I could go back to a time when I didn't wonder about the why. It just is what it is. Like I said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. But it was also because I sometimes am weary of looking for meaning in everything or having to look at myself yet again like, okay, what did I do now? And then I thought about having compassion for myself and not beating myself up, which is an old pattern. Maybe we're not perfect all the time, but it's okay. It's okay to get annoyed or mad or frustrated. But if we're getting stuck there, it's time to shift and release, and sometimes we need a nudge. So it's up to each of us to decide. I'm not sure if everything happens for a reason, but I am appreciative of the energetic release that I felt, and it opened my heart just a little bit more.